Hello, friends. Is a supercar garage from Moscow, and we have today a 2018 Bentley 80,000 kilometers mileage. We'll be repairing it today. I'll show it to you, and I'll tell you how much it costs in parts, how much it costs in labor. But you also make a conclusion for yourself whether it is worth buying such a car in general. Bentley to buy not new, it is a very dangerous occupation. Now I'll show you why. You see here, this is the spigot that goes to the intercooler. Oil is pouring out of it. That's too bad. Indeed. The oil could be. But not much. There's a lot of oil in here. What's going to happen next? I think you can already guess. There will be engine trouble. We're draining that oil right now. Measuring his level. So we draw the appropriate conclusions. But that's not the worst of it here. There are a few details here that are very expensive, and which many salespeople are trying to hide it. This defect. When not buying a new Bentley, this is something you should always look at and pay attention to. Note, just now I showed you, these are the engine mounts. They are very expensive, they are electronic, and they are only sold in the original. Each such prop, of which there are two, costs $3,000. Two supports, $6,000. We'll be changing them here. Unscrupulous sellers turn them off so no one can realize they don't work. Pay attention to this when purchasing. If the supports are disconnected, I've shown you what it looks like, it's very bad. So they will need to be changed. And it's going to cost $6,000. That's something you should definitely pay attention to. This problem happens on cars that are not old, on older cars. In general, this problem happens very, very often. Also pay attention to the radiators. This is where the radiators get very dirty. They need to be cleaned immediately. It is very urgent to clean them or the motor will overheat. Now I'm going to show you how we drain the oil from the intercooler pipe. Now, look, that's a lot of butter. Although, if there's a little bit of it, it might to be, but a lot of oil is very, very bad. But I'll show you how much he is. You see here, it's not supposed to be like that. Once again, if you buy such a Bentley, be sure to take it to the dealer to make a checklist and understand how much money you need to invest in this car, because Bentley is a very expensive car to maintain, and Bentayga including, although Bentayga created Volkswagen, but prices for spare parts here as a real Bentley, and this should always be remembered. But let's move on. I'll show you what else we're doing to this car. But in fact, the car is very beautiful. The car is very comfortable and it is very pleasant to drive, but you have to pay for it. I will now show you a few more problems that come with this car. Please note that the vehicle has a relatively low mileage, but already so many problems with it. This car is operated in Moscow, Russia. But it has this trouble, it has this problem that it's very, very dirty. All the while, I will be showing you a very dirty car. Because in Moscow in winter it is very cold, very snowy and very dirty. Note the very dirty car. Let's get right down to it. Another part of our video, where I will show you a few more jobs that are very expensive and that are very common on this car. It's a common problem, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's a Bentley. If you want to go fast, be prepared to pay money for it. Be prepared to pay money for it. Very nice color of the car. I think you've noticed by now, it's a custom color. You have to pay extra for that, too, if you're buying a new car. But here the car is no longer new. It's 5 years old, but also has maintenance issues. That's a lot of parts. A lot of small spare parts. All of this will be installed on this vehicle. We're the ones with the lever repair kit. And these are the little levers we're going to be changing too. Now I'll show you what we're changing and how much it costs. Basically, these parts are Volkswagen parts. They are inexpensive, but the replacement, labor is very expensive. If you buy this part for $3,000, for example, the labor is justifiably expensive. But if you buy a part for $100 and it costs $300 to replace it, it's certainly very, very frustrating. But I've already shown you about these supports. You see, this is how unscrupulous sellers are made. That's how they turn it off and you won't realize what it's not working. But we've already taken one down. An old prop. There's going to be a new pylon here now. I'll show you that, too. All of this takes practically 2 days of work. Here, all the parts one just showed you took 2 days of work. And it's certainly cheaper in Russia than in the United States of America, but it's not cheap either. And of course it's a Bentley. They always charge 2 prices for a Bentley. Multiply by 2. Here I'll show you those supports again. This is the prop we have new. Now I'll show you what happened to the old prop. See, she's not easy, it's electronically controlled and those supports still need to be adjusted after installation. They need to be computer programmed to work correctly. This old prop right here, see, it leaked. It's hydraulic. It's got oil inside. It leaked out and stopped working. But as you can see, by now the new parts will be here and everything will be fine with this Bentley. But it costs, once again, is very, very expensive. That's why you should always watch what you buy. And this little box here, which costs $500, is the control unit for these supports. It fits from Audi, from Volkswagen and costs $500. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like already. The supports installed on the vehicle. Here they are expensive new supports. I'd say they're Goldilocks in the literal sense of the word. That's what they look like. The only thing left to do is to connect them, program them, and then you can drive the car in good working order. Actually, if these supports are disconnected, the computer will not show any errors. That is, this error will not appear on the display in the car. You will see the error only if you connect the computer at an authorized dealer. Well, we've got the engine mounts sorted out. We now move on to suspension repair. I'm going to show you how we changed the valving. It's the lower arm valving and it's also a very common fault in this car. The part is inexpensive, the labor is very expensive. But watch it, I think it'll be interesting. By the way, write in the comments what you'd like to learn about repairing the Bentley Bentayga and other Bentley models. I will try to show you and tell you how much it costs in Moscow. But I think in general parts cost about the same, both in Russia and America. So working in Russia will naturally come at a cost. Cheaper because our work is always cheaper. Pay attention to this part, it also often goes out of order, costs $100. But to replace it the work costs $350 for 2 supports. We have them too, but in general such was our repair today is not very big but expensive. So if you buy a car like this, make sure you check it out.